Good morning everyone and welcome to today's video. Old nasty food, recycling jars, and garlic seasoning, removing plastics from my life. What can all of this mean? Well, this video is going to touch a lot of different subjects and a lot of different projects. Hi everybody and welcome to Homestead Tessie. It's all about living in a mobile home, but living a more natural life and trying to remove all the clutter and all the nonsense of our lives. And boy, that's a mouthful, isn't it? There's so much that we can all do to live a very frugal life and to change maybe some of the notions and perceptions that we have about low-income living. There are a lot of things that I like to collect, and one of them is binders to make recipes. I found a binder that was about 15 years old, and in that binder was a recipe for garlic bread seasoning. I don't know where the recipe came from, but it was something that I printed out, and today I'm going to make it for all of you. Just remember, the recipes are all in the description box. We're using some garlic powder, some onion powder, some parsley, some pepper, and we're just going to go ahead and make this garlic powder amazing for garlic bread. Now you can use this for vegetables and all kinds of things, but it was on the title, it was called garlic bread seasoning. So I'm just mixing it all up together today. I hope you didn't miss yesterday's video. I was in the kitchen making a lot of things, and all the recipes, of course, are in that description box. I got all of my dried foods and put them together, and now I know exactly what I have, and I'm consolidating everything which you see in other videos. I'm doing a lot of decluttering, but I'm also donating a tremendous amount of things that have no need to me, and they're just cluttering up my mind and my life. And we're going to talk a little bit here for a moment about low income. Now I wanted to show you here what I'm using this is a beautiful salt, but it's dark because it is smoked salt. And let me tell you what, stuff is amazing. You can get cherry smoked salt or hickory smoked, and it's absolutely wonderful in making dry mixes. You can also use this for a marinade for chicken as well. What I would like to do is change the perceptions of low income and change what people think that low income is. And as I do that, I am really opening my own mind to all the stereotypes of what people label everybody. Maybe we don't need these labels anymore. In fact, I think I'm working on not labeling. It's just wholesome everyday living with not the consumerism that maybe you would see in the society of today. I'm getting rid of plastics, a little at a time. The only thing I have a problem with is all of the plastic that I use in my freezers. I can't seem to get away from that because, resealable plastic bags are not really that great of an idea if you're freezing meat and things like that. But I am trying to get rid of the plastics of my life, and I use a lot of wooden things. That is a wooden salt box that I've had for a very long time. And now, since all that canning from yesterday is done, I can go ahead and just put all of the lids and the rings back on the string. I like to string up the rings, so I have them. So I'm going to go ahead and string these up, then I can hang them in the garage, and that's where I keep all of my supplies for canning. I'm amazed at how many things that I had when I went through all of those drawers in the kitchen, and canning rings here and canning lids there, and when you put it all together, it was quite a bit of stuff. And I do realize, embarrassing, but I do realize that I bought things because I didn't know I had them, and to find out I had duplicates and triple of what I didn't think I had, simply because I had so much stuff I didn't know what it was. So I'm going to go ahead and put these rings together and then finish all of this kitchen work and get this done, because I have a really big job ahead of me that has to do with some really old food. Going ahead and put all my seasonings away in this cupboard little closet that you seen me clean out last week. So now you're getting to see all the amazing things that I am doing here to make things cleaner and more organized. And now we're going to work on a major project. And that project is this. I was given a lot of jars with food in it, but it was food that I didn't think was edible. And I'm using the jars to sanitize them. Now, why would I go to all this trouble, you ask? Well, the jars were really good, and they were mason jars. And I thought, well, this is a great opportunity to reuse them over and over again. Now, some of them I did keep, and some of them I sanitized and gave it to the Amish friend of mine, which I think you would have seen that in video. If not, you will be seeing it coming up real soon. I cannot remember from one day to the next, hardly whatever. I do so much, so you will be seeing that. But the food, it was all sealed, but I just didn't trust it quite right, and I didn't want to use it. I don't consume other people's food because I don't know if it is pressure sealed or what, and I'm not sure, if it's edible. I'm very cautious about that. I pressure can all of my food, and that's why I am so strict about not water bath canning certain things, because it's just simply, to me, it's not safe as far as what somebody else is doing. I don't know their kitchen. I don't know if they're clean. I don't know anything about it. But this is what I'm working on. I'm going to go through all of this, my friends. This was a chore. Then I have to take it across the street into the woods and dump it there. Now, because there's no botulism, in my opinion, because they were sealed, I didn't bury them in the ground. If it is something that was not sealed and I was concerned about botulism, then I wrap that into a bag and I will throw that in with the garbage. But all this was sealed and probably edible. It's just I didn't risk it. All right, so I'm going to keep showing you the process here in case you ever have to do this. Now what I am doing is I'm washing out all the buckets. Then I am going to add a little bit of chlorine. Now, I don't like using Clorox, but in this situation, I will, and it just will sanitize the jars even better. These jars, as you can tell, look really bad shape, but once I wash them, you would be surprised here in a moment how beautiful they are. And yes, I am using the jars too. And I actually have them already used, some of them. But now what we're going to do is I have some of my homemade soap, which is in a Tide bottle, but it's my homemade laundry soap, which has some washing soda in it, and there's a little bit of baking soda in there, and I also use a little bit of the chlorine in the water. And now I'm just letting them soak. So if you ever have jars like this, you don't throw the jars away. You can really get them cleaned up really nice. And this was a job that I had to do outside. And the sun also helped sanitize things. Now, I know when I say that, not everybody agrees with me, but sunlight does sterilize to a certain degree. It sanitizes. The UV in the sun does make a huge difference. And that is scientific as well as just common sense, that the sun does really help things as well. In the past, I had the mindset where I had to have everything. I had to keep everything because times would get bad or, whatever. And now I don't worry about that. I don't have 3, 4, 5 years worth of food. I don't need to keep all these jars for the what ifs. I can pass them on to somebody else who can use them. And that's been a big mindset change that I have now. That I can use these jars, but I can give them to people too. I don't have to hoard every single thing. Or if I see a sale at the store, I don't have to buy it all. I don't have to buy cases of stuff. And that has been such a relief off of me since I'm older as well. I don't have to have it all. Now, I still like to prep, but I don't need to prep so much. I don't need to. And now let's just go ahead and finish up these jars and get them put away. And have this project really done. This took me a long time. It doesn't look long in the video, but this took me about 2 hours to do all of this. Now, would you go to the trouble of doing what I did to save some jars? I think most of you would say yes now. Have you priced a case of new jars? Unbelievable. The amount of money it costs now to get new canning jars compared to when I first started my YouTube channel. And there those are. Since it was such a beautiful day, I decided to work on my lemon verbena, and what I'm doing is I am just taking the leaves off the stems, a much quicker and easier way of doing that. I have so much of it growing this year, so I didn't really worry about it, if I wasted some of it, because it's just so much. I'm working on this, and I'm going to work on a few other projects that have to do with not using plastic. So let me show you here what I'm working on next. I'm harvesting my roses before we have a frost, and I'm going to add that to the lemon verbena. Then I like to make sachets, and I use that for scenting my clothing, and I also use that as perfume, which I have lots of videos on. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in my dehydrator. I don't have any electric dehydrators anymore. I don't use them. They take too much electricity, and it's not money saving for me whatsoever. So if it doesn't save me money, I'm not doing it, and it costs too much. So I will be learning to dry my fruits and vegetables the old way, and that is using solar. I'm going to go ahead and just clean up the area here, and in the next video clips that you see, I am going to be working on a wooden box, and that's where I'm putting my makeup in, and I got rid of my really dingy plastic one that I had. So what is my game plan for all this? Well, this was an old wooden box that you've seen in the first video clip of this video. I painted it brown. Now I'm adding all of my makeup brushes and my makeup that I have to that. My game plan is to not have anything that is disposable when it comes to plastics and things like that, or not have as many. There's always plastic in your life. As you can see, I have some plastic combs in here, which I've had for many years. Of course, I'm going to keep that because I use them. But when the box gets broken or I can't use it anymore, it's not toxic. I can burn it and get rid of it. And I'm just doing little things at a time. So I'm not going to say I'm totally got rid of plastic, because that would be a lie. I'm just working on things that I can do to eliminate as much as I can of plastic. It's just a work in progress. I'm sure you all know that, because there's things that we do in our life that we try to improve on, but we're not totally there yet. So I'm not zero waste, absolutely not, but I would love to be someday. But I'm just doing little things. Thanks for watching today's video. What I'm working on here is another photo of an old-fashioned, and this was a photo of our family, and I love working on craft projects. Thanks so much for the views and for the hypes and the thumbs ups and the comments and the approvals of the new way I am filming these days, and the graphics and all the fun things. I like hearing your feedback. You gave me some feedback on my thumbnails, and I took that to heart and I changed them, and I hope that you like them as well. So thank you guys so much for everything, and I'm finishing up all of my herbs here to put them away, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. What is something that you are doing today that you are trying to be more self-sufficient, or something that you are doing that is removing plastics from your life, or something that you're having fun doing today. Let's talk about having fun. Let's talk about something that you did that you are enjoying, something you're learning. Take care, everyone. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.